Hello and welcome to another Purveyor of Light Photoshop Quick Tip. Today we have another viewer submitted question, and they were kind enough to describe in detail what they were talking about. And that was they had a photo and the person's skin was a little bit on the pale side. And that's a common thing, especially in the winter where we don't get a lot of sunlight. A very common, like if you go to Ireland, for example, Ireland is very, very cloudy all the time, and so the people are kind of on the blue side, as they say. But is there any way we can, make a correction without, giving them a fake tan, making them a very subtle correction? And I said, absolutely. So that's what we're going to do today on this photo here. We have a picture of a beautiful woman. She is a little on the pale side, probably because of the time of the year the picture was taken. And we'll see if we can correct it. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I'm going to isolate her face, because that's all we want to work on is her face and maybe her thumb that's showing in the picture here. So we need to make a mask so that we can work with that. So I'm just going to take the quick selection tool here, and I'm going to attempt to try to just select her face. So we're going to go in, and don't worry if it doesn't do perfect, okay? So now we have a couple areas, too much. Hold the Alt or Option key, and then just subtract from the selection. Keeping patience. Sometimes it'll jump around on you, but if you're careful, you'll get close enough. All right, let that think, and a little more over here. And this is the boring part of it. And I'm not going to, take great time and that to waste your time on the tutorial, because that's not what it's about. All right, one more area here. All right, so we'll say now I've got a nice selection of the face, and if I try to do the thumb, okay, and we'll call that good for now. So for safety purposes, I'm going to go up to select, and I'm going to hit save selection, and I'm going to just call it the face. And that's just so we have a saved selection in case we need to come back to it. Okay, so now this is what we're going to affect in the image. So now we need to determine what's the easiest way to put a little bit of color back into her skin. And for me, the easiest choice is going to be an adjustment layer, and I'm going to go to an adjustment, and I'm going to go to the channel mixer. Okay, so if you don't have your adjustment panel open, you can come down here and you can do the exact same thing and go channel mixer right there. There. So it's very easy, and like everything in Photoshop, you can do it 26 different ways to get there. So, all right, so I'm going to select channel mixer, and you'll notice that because we had that selection going, it automatically put a mask on this layer for us. And what's the rule of masks? White reveals, black conceals. So that means anything in white on this mask will allow the effect that we do to show through. Anything in black will be hidden and will not be affected in the image. And what do we want to affect in this image? Strictly the skin, right? Okay. So here we are in the channel mixer. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click the monochrome selection. Okay, so now we have the skin in black and white, as you can see. And I'm going to mess with the red channel, and I'm going to go a negative 10 per se. On the green channel, I'm going to go 0. And with the blue, I'm going to go a plus 110. If I can type right. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. Okay. We missed our ear, so we'll take care of that in a second. All right. So now we're ready to do some magic, and we're in black and white, but we're going to correct that by changing the blend mode of this layer. So we come up under the normal, and then we come down to strictly luminosity. Okay. And you can now see that the color correction is just this. So now let's just correct a couple of my mistakes. I forgot the ear, so I'm just going to come up on the mask layer, and I'm going to paint in white because I want to reveal things. Okay. And so now I'm just going to carefully paint and select and add that to the mask. Okay. And so now if I paint, you'll see the mask color change, and that makes sure the color gets in there. And missed a piece on the finger, so I'm just going to come down here and I'm going to correct it. And of course, when you're doing this for your photos, you're going to be much more careful than I am. But basically, now I want you to see the before and after. Okay, what we did is realistic. Okay, you don't want a spray fake tan coming up on someone. Okay, so here's the before, and there's the after. All we did is just introduce a little bit of color into her flesh tones. Okay, desaturated the reds, and we mixed it together so that it looks more realistic. Now again, you can always come in here and change, okay, the channel mixer. Just click on the three little dots here, and you can make adjustments. You say, well, maybe -10, or maybe this, maybe it's how I want to increase it this way or that way, right? You can do this by adjustments, just coming in and doing adjustments, okay, until you find something that is to your liking. Okay, so if I change constant like this and I go, all right, let's see what that looked like. You see there and there. Okay, it's a very subtle effect, but very effective effect. And now the other thing, if some of you are on the ball, which I know all of you are, you said, hey, Lenny, you forgot to turn around and protect the lips and the eyes. And you're absolutely right. So still clicking on the mask, I am now going to paint in black. So I'm switching my colors to black. And now I'm just going to correct what I did not protect. And that was the eyes. So I'm just going to paint on the mask in black. And anything that I didn't want to have affected, I'm just putting it on the mask. And it's as easy as that. Okay? And you bring it in. And that's the beauty of working on adjustment layers, is you can always make an adjustment. Now, you see I messed up on the lip here. Just simply hit X and paint the other way to make the correction. It's that simple. So, okay, and now you look at the mask, and you can see we have masked out those areas. And if you could see by doing this any areas that you've missed, like on the ear, I didn't do a very good job. So again, just painting in white, you can come in and fix what you didn't do well. Okay, and that's one of the best things about this. And for those of you that don't know how I did this, to display the mask, it's just simply hold the Alt or Option key while you click. And that puts you there, and Alt or Option click on the mask will show you the mask in its entirety. Okay, so there we go, the before and the after. Okay, now if it's a little too strong for you or a little artificial looking for you, that's where we take the opacity and we just drop it down, and that's how we make things look super duper unrealistically. Now, there's the finished product. I dropped the opacity down to 74, and you can see the before and the after. And it's a very realistic change. And the only one that's going to know that this was done was me. Okay, if you hand this picture to someone just like this, they are not going to know that you made the change. And that's the whole point of Photoshop. Subtlety. It makes big differences, but small changes. So again, the before and the after. Okay, just puts a little bit of color into the skin. Okay, but it doesn't look fake. It doesn't look like we spray tanned her, turned her bronze. Okay, because that just wouldn't be believable. Okay, people know what they look like, so you can't be heavy-handed on the adjustments. Okay, so that's gonna do it for this one there. So again, just to put a little color back into the skin, all we did is a quick little mask, threw on a channel mixer, made some adjustments to the flesh tones, and then dropped the opacity, and we're done. All right, guys, till next week, you guys take care.